Hi, Luxies. Welcome back to the Luxury Live Show. Today we have a special guest right in the this side, right in the middle. It is Connor from Connor's Closet. Welcome, and of course I have Amy here with us today. And yeah, we are so excited to have you on your own.
Thank you for having me.
Does it feel better to be on your own?
Did I give off that impression?
No, it's all good. We're just teasing.
We're teasing you.
Look, in any way you want me to come, it's fine. I enjoy it either way.
Oh,
we love it. We love it. We love to. Actually, we were just talking before Jerusha's live. If you all haven't watched Jerusha's live, it's epic. How many hours was it, Amy?
It's probably our longest luxury live show to date.
It's like the Titanic.
It's
like 4 hours.
But she said that she's competitive, right? She wants to have the most appearance. For sure, she has the longest show. I don't think we'll ever surpass that because almost 4 hours.
She can have the record. It's fine. We don't. She wins.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it was a long one. So anyway, just before that live, we were actually talking about getting the three of you back. So yourself, Connor, and Dale and Meredith, and we're like, oh yeah, we'll group them together. We'll call Jessie to join, and then Jerusha joined, and she was like, Connor wants to join us. I was like, okay, fine, let's bring them all one by one.
Well, one thing for sure is that because already as it is right now with one guest, we are 3 individuals. It's so easy to overlap each other. So for sure, coming on your own is nice because then it's easier to control everyone. Like it's easier for any of us to hear each other. And then if we're overlapping, then one of us can just stop talking and then that's how it goes, right? It's really hard there's no such thing as controlling. We just kind of like hear and then kind of realize it a bit late, and then you just kind of let the person.
Threesomes are always hard, Amy. Someone always.
Okay. Yeah, we try. Okay, so today we are gonna have a chit chat, and it's sort of, I guess it's because there's a little bit of this kind of video that's going around, and then you probably, as a luxury lover, you probably also kind of feel it a little bit. But we're gonna talk about how the luxury scene is sort of a little bit transforming. So we're going to start off with what you would watch right on YouTube, and I'm sure some of you have watched that video from Nikki Sky, which Connor and we just had a quick chat about it. But yeah, Nikki Sky, this really big YouTuber. I think she has 500,000 followers or more, and she's sort of like a lifestyle YouTuber. But I think from there, she sort of like made it more viral. But before that, there were a lot of little contents coming up from various, influencers talking about how they are moving towards the quiet luxury, moving towards, minimalism. So yeah, we just want to talk about it. That is it really happening? So let me just pull this out.
Can I just say something first? I actually haven't seen the video.
No, you're not a lot. It's all right, Amy.
No, not your video. Her video.
Yeah, you're not missing out on anything. It's okay.
Just watch it.
I'm just saying I didn't watch it because the reason why I know about it is because everyone's reacting to it. But so I know about that video, but I actually didn't watch that video. And it's not because I don't want to watch it or anything. It's just it's irrelevant to me, so I didn't watch it. That's all. It's very it's not personal.
Yeah. I only watched it because I think Clara Zila, she mentioned it in our chat, and she was like, oh my gosh, this is happening. And I was like, well, what? Okay, I have some free time. Then I watched it, and I think it's very dramatic, right? Connor, I think you can elaborate a little bit. But yeah, her video was sort of like the peak of it. From at least from my perspective, from watching everyone, right? Because everyone's just dropping videos about, quiet luxury, changing their, not interested anymore here and there. But that video was like, everybody started to talk about it, right?
Yeah. It was, yeah, it's like it just picks up and then everyone watches it and then everyone's talking about it and then everyone's reacting to it. And it's an interesting topic because I think if you've built up your audience with people who like luxury content to then do a complete 180 and then divvy away from that and say, oh, well, actually, everything that I've been talking about, everything that I've loved, everything that I've mentioned for all of this time, which consequently has built that audience because, you know, luxury brings in views if you have lots of money and you have lots of bags and you have a lifestyle. For then to go and say, oh, actually, anything with like a logo on it, anything it's irresponsible and it makes, you know, I could be putting the money better towards things with my family. And it's like, why? So when Amy, you said I didn't watch the video, I wouldn't expect you to. It's like, if you eat meat, you're not going to go to a vegetarian restaurant. What are you going to eat? Lettuce, leaf?
Yeah, I don't tend to watch topics like that either. Like
Yeah.
I watch topic that I want a certain detail about a bag, or I
Yeah.
want to know what's new, so I watch unboxing. So like it's just that's why I didn't watch it, because it's just a video that skipped through my history, like through the
Yeah.
scroll. That's all.
Yeah.
Living Lux. Meredith is here. Hello. So this is an interesting comment, and I kind of actually do agree with it. Not kind of agree. I do agree. It sort of filters to us because of that viral video, kind of viral. Did it go viral? I think it went viral, right? Viral among the luxury community. Now, whenever we who could be on a path of just, we always do it, right? We adjust our collection. But then now if I'm starting to sell, if I suddenly do a video, I'm going to do a vlog, then you're like, oh my gosh, are you part of this whole trend of moving away from luxury? Where in reality, if you look back at the history of our videos, we do it all the time, or at least we do it occasionally, where we're trying to make our collections work and make sense. Because firstly, I don't have the kind of lifestyle to have, dang, 500 bags behind me. No, that's nuts. But I mean, that's for me at least. Okay, that's for me. But I think we do it all the time. And now, if you want to sell some bags, you are also in that bandwagon. Yeah. So I agree, Meredith.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, yeah, I think her video was a little bit different though, because it wasn't just I'm downsizing my collection. It was almost like I'm shaming everyone who does have bags because I've had this epiphany. Like, it was very like, I've discovered God, not actual God, but I've discovered life outside of luxury, and you know, I found fulfillment with relationships more meaningful than labels, and then I wouldn't now be friends with people who have a Birkin because blah blah blah. And it was like, what? So you have no friends now? Like, it was very weird.
There was a book that she was referring to, actually.
Yeah,
Which one is that?
No, so okay, so I cannot remember who I was chatting with about her video, but was it one of our? Yeah. Anyway, apparently this is not her first video about talking about this whole downsizing. She did another video before it, and in that video there was a book. Oh yeah, I think I was talking to Eileen and Joe about this. There's a book that she read, and in that book it was talking about, I don't know, some kind of things that would change her life. So she did a video before, maybe a couple of videos before, she said that after reading this book, it sort of opened up her eyes, and therefore the video that she did, where it went viral and everybody was commenting on it, it made a lot of references to this particular book. I swear I cannot remember right now. Let me just go and check it. It's a very famous book. So just give me a second.
Yeah, I think for the video that I ultimately reacted to, I think maybe 2 or 3 weeks before that video, she did another one where she was saying, oh, well, I am selling clothes in my wardrobe and I'm downsizing. And like, downsizing is fine, but it wasn't really about downsizing. It was about getting rid of everything with a prominent luxury logo. And it wasn't because, like, her points for herself, I guess, were valid, but it was the tone of the conversation that she was using, which I think a lot of people didn't like. It wasn't so much the fact that she's having this, come to peace moment with getting rid of bags. It was the fact that she was then saying, well, like indirectly, well, is this important to you? Like there's more important things in life. So like if this is important to you, well, that's fine, but you should be looking for deeper relationships with people. You should be looking for more things in life that aren't materialistic, yada, yada. So it came like the tone of the video was coming from a judgmental place, but it was like wrapped up in a nice little bow, you know?
Yeah, it's true. So this if you look for it, this book that she read is called The One Book That Changed My Entire Life. It's called Radical Awakening. A Radical Awakening. So in this book, it's sort of like awakening. And after she read that book, she said that it really changed her mindset, and therefore that followed up with the 2 or 3 other videos of her, just changing her life, right? From her fashion, her clothes, and then her bags, and then that video that finally everybody's like, wait, are you dissing me? Because it felt like it, right? Like what you said, Connor, it sort of felt like now I felt a little shame for liking these things, which maybe which rubbed everybody the wrong way. At least if I'm listening to, I'm like, no, I'm okay with my logos.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
Sorry, I was gonna say, but isn't that the reason why if you would like that's the why I wouldn't watch a video like that. I'm not saying that it's not okay to have watched it, but like I just like social media these days, right? It's so people take it so seriously, almost too seriously. Like honestly, if you look at anybody's IG, they're just showing the best side of them. You look at anybody's video, they still had to take the energy and have put on their nice face to come on the camera. They wouldn't just show up anytime. So it's still showing what they want to filter out to show it to you, and then the rest you don't see it. So again, I don't really know the content of the video or the tone or anything, but just judging from everyone's response and what you guys are saying, I almost feel like, without even knowing what she said, I almost feel like, yeah, she's definitely going through something. But we don't have to let what's going on with her to affect how we're going to go about our own lives and how we should feel. But I know it's hard because, again, social media is very viral. You see something and then you, maybe not you, but other people can use that against you. And then maybe, that's the part that I don't like the part where maybe there are people that will agree with the tone or the direction she's going with, and then automatically you're the devil because you're not doing that, and that's
True.
where I'm not okay with.
Yeah.
It's not her content, it's just the virality and like the cancel culture of how everyone reacts towards and then targeting you because it's not the same perspective and belief as her.
Yeah. And look, I think the irony of it was the book that she's referencing has radical in the title, which I don't think anything with radical in the title is never going to be good. I think it's all
Radical awakening, right?
Strangers, it's like, okay. I think it all comes down to the delivery. I think if she did the video in a more of a conversational way, like where I'm kind of up to in life, this is where what I'm kind of thinking about. These are my feelings behind it, versus this video was given, come join my cult, because it had like this weird music in it, like splurging, like it was throwing things at people, not inviting them in. And I think, like anything, you can do any video any way, but if one person can do it like this, another person can do it like that, and they can come across completely different. And it's all about the delivery and the overall message.
Yeah.
And he's clearly got, I don't know, some sort of team that helps her with these videos, and they should get fired because it was terrible. It just did not land very well. And again, the crux of the issue was people weren't jumping on the like, oh, let's just cancel her because she's doing this. It was more like, oh, I've watched you for like 6 years and I've really been on this journey with you, and then now all of a sudden you're dissing me for doing all of the things that I've been on the journey with you with no real explanation other than you found fulfillment in life. Like what's fulfillment in life? Like what does that mean? So I think it was more how it was all kind of handled and everything that people had the issue with, like disingenuous. It'd be like, Amy, if you were just like, tomorrow, no more Chanel. I just think that people who buy Chanel lack depth, and I'm buying like a plastic bag. Like, you know what I mean? It would be, or like subscribers would be like, okay, well, last
Are you
week,
for real?
yeah, like when you got your, you know, so yeah.
I think it was a very interesting build up to her video, because can you imagine if she did not do, so I know we're talking about Nikki's guy, but obviously we'll come back to the point about everyone, like the whole trend of just the YouTubers. But for her, I think it's a build up, because if she did not do that first video, that this book changed my life, and she just did this whole what do you call it, like this whole goodbye luxury video, and you know, selling everything, then I think it would be kind of worse. Like people would just like, whoa, what happened? Like Amy, if you just did it like, you know, you've been lied to all this while, like it just come out of the blue, I think then everyone would be just like, you need to get some help. What happened to you? But it was a build up. She did the book first, she did a couple of vlogs, and then so those that actually followed her, if you look at the comments, they were like, we're happy that you're slowly transforming. So they didn't really watch the video from our perspective, because when I watched it, I literally watched this person going like, what? Because I didn't have perspective, right? I didn't have perspective of this book that she was reading. But even though I do have perspective now, you're right. The delivery of the video was just, yeah, a little bit far off. Like I just could not connect to it. It just felt like she was giving me a speech or something.
She was wearing a VCA bracelet while telling people not to buy luxury with logos, and like that.
I saw that comment.
The delivery was a little odd. It felt like you said, no, it felt like, and I was being told that I'm wrong. So yeah, you're right. If she did the delivery slightly more personal in a way that, you know, it's just slightly different, and I think it would be much more acceptable. It felt very far.
So do you guys believe that YouTubers are moving away from luxury? The YouTuber luxury, sorry, the luxury YouTubers moving away from luxury. Do you guys believe that is happening? Sorry?
Not the ones that you should be watching. I don't think so. I think it's few and far between.
I don't think so either, but there's definitely there's definitely a few that I used to watch as luxury YouTubers, and then they transitioned into different type of content, or totally different direction.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a trend, but see, that's the thing. I think this could apply to any genres. It's not necessarily luxury. Doesn't make sense. Like, I think it just so happened that because we're in the luxury community that we see them only, but I think there are people that may be into other things, and then suddenly they change directions as well. So I don't necessarily think that it is a trend, but it's their own discovery of themselves, and then they're changing.
I think the ones that have been on YouTube the longest maybe are feeling a bit, you know, like with anything that you love for a long time, it does sort of taper a little bit, right? It plateaus. You still love it, but maybe it's not as intense at the beginning. So like you said, you know, there's some of the YouTubers that we used to watch, they may have switched their content, or it's slowed down, or they've changed direction. I think it's fine, but I do also think that maybe not so strong as a trend, but the ones that I watch, they are definitely shifting. It could be shifting in how they buy, how much they buy as well, and also maybe the tone as well that I gather from some of the videos. It's sort of like maybe you're tired, because it's not that you don't love bags or you don't love luxury. It's also the time right now that's everything's just you can't help it. Everything's so expensive. So you are actually, even though you love something, it is so not achievable anymore that it kind of weighs on us anyway, because it just doesn't seem right anymore. So I feel like that can also cause you to sort of move away, maybe not entirely like goodbye, but it's sort of slowing down and say, money could be spent better elsewhere. That's kind of how I feel.
That's a good point. I mean, it's probably controversial, but I think the people that I can think off the top of my head who have done the complete step away from luxury, I honestly think that it probably, mental health wise, they probably weren't the kind of people that could sustain doing that, because it became a habit more so than a passion for luxury. So I think that they've stepped away and changed their content. And I probably can reference Caitlin Pulowski, for example, who's, you know, said that she had a shopping addiction, all of that stuff. So it wasn't so much about putting out content in general. It was more about, it wasn't healthy for her to keep buying stuff. And part of that was, well, if I buy something, then I'll have content to talk about, but then I want to keep buying stuff because I have this addiction to shopping or whatever it was. So I think those people are stepping away for a completely different reason. The ones that, I think, changing your overall style of luxury and stuff, I think that's perfectly fine. Like, you're not going to be the same person that you were 3 or 4 years ago, and moving into quiet luxury brands and stuff like that. I think that if, like, you can go on the journey with the person, and I don't think anyone would be like, well, I'm not watching this content anymore, it's boring. I think if that person is like, well, look, like, you know, I'm not the same person I was X amount of years ago, and now I'm wanting to explore these kinds of bags, these kinds of brands, and they're honest about that journey and saying, like, I'm just, you know, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm more interested in these things, like, come along with me. I think you're going to have a lot more of a better reaction from your subscribers versus just one day dissing all the brands that you used to buy and then all of a sudden buying Celine, no logo, bloody whatever, and then you know, or whatever. But also, like, on my channel, I'm always like, I don't just I very rarely unbox stuff. It might be a handful of times a year. I'm thinking outside of the box. I will do like commentary on stuff, and like, it's not sustainable for me to just keep buying things to unbox, especially in this economy when milk is, you know, $10. So like, I think if you want to be on YouTube and you don't want to get sucked into the trap of having to constantly buy stuff or getting competitive or whatever it may be, like, think outside of the box, create content that is still luxury content, but it doesn't mean you have to go and buy something. Like, you can review anything, you can talk about anything, and I think that you know, you can have both ways without actually physically buying stuff, and you know.
For sure.
Good point. Speaking of milk, I had a shock of my life the other day when I bought a loaf of bread, because I haven't bought a loaf of bread for a while. But for all of a sudden, I wanted to buy a loaf of bread, and I went downstairs to the mini mart, and I took this loaf of bread, the one that, you know, it's probably fully made of chemicals, and I looked at the price. I was like, "What? $5 for a loaf of bread? What happened to 160?"
Yeah, I know.
Wow. I made sure I finished that loaf of bread. What in the world happened? What happened? Terrible. Good points. Good points. I think that, you know, the point about, you know, when we sort of buy because of the content, I think that's a reality. So I went through this when I was starting out with YouTube, because it becomes almost cyclical, where you buy and then I would not use it until I do my unboxing. So after a while, you kind of, if you can catch yourself fast enough, where you're like, oh wait, this is not totally wrong, then it really snaps you out of it. But it can be very addictive, where everything you buy, you want to post and you want to unbox and you want to talk about, and you sort of plan your purchase around YouTube. And I think a lot of us went through it. Like, I'm sure a lot of us had sort of went through some form of that. But yeah, if you have a more, maybe like a addictive personality, it can really suck you in, and it's not sustainable, especially if it's luxury. But if it's like makeup or smaller items, it does ring up really quickly, but it's not so big, right? Which is why in the early days of YouTube, you would see people buy and buy and buy, and it's just crazy the amount of makeup they will buy. But if you watch today's content, today's YouTube content on makeup and skincare, which I love, it's different. It's shifted. You buy only what you need, and you buy some, which is collect. If you're doing YouTube and you buy a little bit extra, but you will not buy like the past where they will buy the entire collection because they want to be the first to reveal it and talk about it. Yeah, it's not sustainable. So with luxury, it's a double, triple whammy.
Yeah.
I think with luxury, sorry, I hear an echo. That's why I said with with the point that you mentioned nowadays, and I think I started doing that since like last year. Nowadays, I would just buy things and I start using them. And when I'm ready to unbox it, I'll just put it back in the box and do it. Like nobody's gonna know the difference. But at least
Correct.
I'm enjoying my things already. I'm already gonna use it because I think that is the issue with in the past. If you were to just wait until you unbox on video, because it's your true reaction, it takes away your own joy. Yes, it's the real reaction for the viewer, but it takes away your own joy. And sometimes it may pile up and you don't even remember that you bought it, and that's actually even worse. I can't say that really happened to me, but I have in the past, tried to wait to unbox it before I can enjoy it. Now I don't care. I just use it.
Yeah, like unless the viewer's buying it for you, they can wait.
True. Okay, I'm going to pull some comments first before we move on to the next. So Joe is here saying, I really wish I could move away from luxury, but it's going to be a lifelong passion, unfortunately, for my wallet. Alta is saying, it's like anything else, new personalities and new channels emerge, like movies and series, and it will be those that produce and will produce content for years and years and years. Yeah, I was just looking. Oh my gosh, I've been on YouTube nearly 9 years. It's just like, what? Where did the time go? Crazy. Rebecca saying, there are a few that I still follow that have stopped doing luxury content but are still making interesting videos, or people I'm following just because I like them. Bits and bags. Haven't seen you doing video. Being on YouTube definitely create addictions. I've reduced a lot. Yeah. Okay, so I guess generally we sort of it's sort of moving away. Maybe it's sort of changing the whole type of brands that you go for, or slowing down a little bit. But if you love luxury, I think it's really hard. Like I cannot imagine not liking handbags. Yeah, I just can't.
Not a life worth living.
Not a life worth living at all. It's too ingrained. Okay, so this one. What about this? So YouTubers aside, what about the masses? What do both of you think? Do you think that luxury is no longer attractive to the masses? Except for Joe, who said it's a lifelong passion. But do all of you, we'll ask the audience as well, do you feel like it's fading? Not gone, but maybe fading? And what do you think? So let's start with Amy. What do you think? It's no longer attractive.
Oh gosh, how should I answer this? Because I'll answer it from my perspective, from what people's reaction towards me is, and it's not always a pleasant one. Obviously, you both know that I'm always going to be a Chanel girl. I always have my Chanel collection, but I'm heavily into Hermès right now, and I just spoke about it on my Q&A just like 2 hours ago. That right now I cannot afford to be distracted, and I just don't have the resources to buy Celine also and buy LV and whatnot. Like I can't, because there's a journey, and that's all I can do right now. And I'm totally okay to do that. Like I am focused and I know what I'm doing. But and I feel like every time I make content, whether it's for Chanel or for an LV bag or for whatever bag in right now, I'm always speaking the truth at the time. So right now, my truth and my reality is that I'm heavily focused on Hermès. And the folks that understand it is probably because they're in the same shoe. But there is a large group of people, because Hermès is definitely not as relatable. And I get that. At one point, I didn't understand why people bought Hermès bags either. But I just either watch it or I don't watch it. Like, I wouldn't go out of my way to make comments and say something like, I don't know, there was this one comment in my short recently. I think it was, in Canada, this would be, I don't know, $180,000 for just like the collection that she has because of the pre-spin and all the bags, right? And I'm just like, okay, what's the point? Like, are you dissing the fact that I'm spending all that money? Is that why luxury is so distasteful to you? Like, I feel like there's a large group of people that maybe not misunderstand, but like they're hating on the fact that I'm at this level of luxury journey now. Like, you know, when I was buying LV and Chanel, it was okay. It was, you know, there's a few haters, but like it's totally okay back then. But now I'm like totally someone who has no style and no personality. I'm boring and buying grandma bags. And I just feel like, you know, based on these comments, I'm not sure if it's because luxury is not attractive. I don't think that's the issue. It's more like
A particular luxury.
a particular luxury, you know, or just I actually don't know. Is it so wrong to not be the same person you are 3 years ago? Like, Connor, you just said that. You're never going to be the same person a few years ago, and you're not going to be the same person 10 years later. Like, you're going to change. So why is it wrong for someone to change, in my case, myself, and to say what is going on? Like, that is the truth right now. I just, you know, it's not that I'm not interested in Celine and all these other brands. I am. I can't spend it right now. Not there. Not yet. I'm not done yet right here, what I'm doing here at Hermès. So it does make it look like, at least just from the comment section, not just my own, right? You read anybody else's who buys Hermès these days, there's going to be a distaste, a group of people that will not be very gentle with their words and their remarks on what you're doing, which has nothing to do with them. And so that, to me, yeah, it makes it less attractive. But is it really because of the luxury, or is it just because of your choice and they're not okay with your choice?
The latter.
Exactly.
It's a them problem. Look, I think you would probably get more hate if you were buying the same things that you bought 10 years ago because you haven't changed. And that would probably be more disingenuous than if you are like, well, like this is what I'm doing now. I'm on my Hermès journey. I can't, you know, it's not like I don't just print money at home. Like I can only focus on one thing at a time. Orans aren't cheap. And like this is what I'm doing. And if you like, this is the content I'm on, this is who I am today, this is my genuine life. And to that person that said, oh, that's 180,000 Canadian dollars, it's actually 250,000 Canadian dollars.
Yeah, more like it. It's more like, oh my gosh, you could buy a house or like a down payment on a house, you know.
Yeah, I could have, because I already have a house. So you know, like
but that's beside the point, you know, like the fact that you can see comments like that and you're just like, what's the point? Like, you know, and that's the thing. I would never do something like that on someone else's comment section. Like there were so many people when I was focused on Chanel at the time, there were so many people already moved on to Hermès at the time. And at the time, I really did not understand, like, what's the point of these bags? Why are they so coveted? Like, I didn't get it either. But I was happy for them because I'm like, they're not spending my money, so why should I care?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Because I'm in it too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we should ask Dale. Dale is here. We should ask you, Dale. How is your journey happening? But we'll tease you later. We'll tease you later.
Yeah, remember when she was on your video and you guys were like Hermès, and she was like, no, no,
Never.
oh, well, humble pie, Dale.
that's okay. You're allowed to change your mind or make an exception.
But we'll still have to make, we'll still have to tease her till death first, because
She made an Hermès wish list.
What about you? Do you think that there is some unattractiveness to the masses for luxury, Connor? Do you think so?
Look, it's one of those things where you only really would have like the comments that Amy gets. I would never get a comment like that in a million years, and if I did, I'd clap back so hard they would regret doing it. I think it all, and I feel like predominantly there's women in luxury YouTube, and predominantly it's women making negative comments about other women on YouTube. And I think because I'm a guy, I just don't get that. Like, I just never really get that pushback. I never get those kinds of comments. And if I do, it's like a drop in the ocean. So when it does happen, I'm like, whatever, I don't care. If I was getting it consistently, it would probably have more of a profound effect and ultimately give me a stronger opinion on this. But like, no, I don't think so. I think, more people. I think there's more people out there buying luxury, and I think you probably got a larger pool of people starting with Louis Vuitton and they're getting their Speedy, or they're starting with brands that are a little bit more accessible. And I think because there's more people in that pool versus probably 10 years ago when that batch of people would have been a quarter of what it is today. So I think because there's more people starting off now with more access to credit and all of that stuff, so there's more means for them to go and buy bags like that, you're probably going to see it a lot more overrepresented than people who are on the Hermès journey, I dare say.
Yeah, good point. I think for the starting luxury, sort of, whether it's Coach or brands like Marc Jacobs. I know Amy's not a fan, but it's still in that sort of more branded. It has a name. It's not, it's not the bag that you buy from the night market. It's sort of something that you save towards. And I think there are, but it also seems to me that because I'm looking at sort of like the younger generation. So let's say, like, I don't know, what do you call Gen Zs? What do they call Alpha Gens, or what do you call it now? Those like 20-year-olds.
I don't know.
What do you call the Gen Zs?
Just I don't know.
I think my generation, I can't remember. Dale was like yelling at me for this. I think I'm either millennial or Gen Z. I can't remember what it is, but I'm born in 95, so whatever that one is.
90. How old is that? How old is 95?
Wow, you're a baby.
Oh, okay. So you got the 3 in front of you. So okay, you're right. I'm talking about the 20s. Like, I find that they like bags or jewelry and all, but it may not be like the luxury. But it could also be, it's not in their income or capacity at the moment. But I do see that because there are a lot of brands coming out, right? A lot. Just like Open, which recently, I don't know why they closed, or like Pauline and all these other sort of entry point brands. Yes. I feel like they're getting the bulk of the
$600 bag market.
Yeah, that kind of market, right? It's not the $1,000, because maybe the mindset now, it's not that luxury is not attractive, but it's sort of like, why do I want to buy it? Like, why? Yeah. Because it's not. They have a very different thought process. It's more about a style and what fits me, what makes me happy, that kind of thing, rather than seeing that item as I'm going to save towards it because I really love it. It's a really different kind of thought process. So it's still expensive, but it's not what we are paying, which is why I feel like that kind of market, still LV is going up there, but it's, I don't see a lot of the younger ones carrying it. I see them carrying the more hip TikTok brands, but they're still good quality, right? They're still good quality. They're still very popular, but it's a very different kind of marketing now. You think it's income? A lot of them are actually. I mean, when I was in my 20s, it's definitely an income issue. But a lot of them now, they're pretty okay because and I mean, not to say they have good income, but it's because they're our kids, right? They're our kids. If I was a young mom, my kid would be around 19, 20 now, and I'm probably gonna be giving her all this stuff because I can afford it. So a lot of them are actually much better off than how we are. So I feel like they're just not that interested. Maybe they saw their parents like going crazy on LV and all. They're like, nah, not for me. I wonder.
And I think there was this kind of tone, like societal tone. I'm not sure about in Canada or in Singapore if it's the same thing, but more so, I guess, in Australia, it was like luxury bags were once you get to 40, that's when you can buy your first luxury bag. It was like an unwritten rule thing, like, oh, you can't buy that, you're way too young. Whereas now, we don't have those kind of societal norms. Like, it's changed and it's more accessible. So I think that there's probably more people buying those stuff, or we probably just don't see it. Or they could just be carrying their mum's bag and we just think they bought it. Who knows? Or they borrowed it from someone. Who knows? But yeah, and I think, and what Dale's just put in the comments there, I think because like housing and stuff like that is so, like, especially in Australia, it's so hard to get a house and buy that. People are like, whatever, I'm never going to get there, but I can get to, a luxury bag is a lot closer. If I'm going to, so I'll just live at home forever and buy luxury bags.
This is very interesting because my cousin, so her daughter, my niece, I think so this is Malaysia. I don't know if in Australia or in Canada whether this happens, but a lot of the kids, that means my 1 to 10 years down from me, they all have housing. Why? Because their parents bought it before they cannot afford it now. So when my niece was in her, I don't know, she was in high school, my cousin already said, I'm buying this place because it's for who and who. And I'm like, what? That's amazing. No, my mom didn't buy me a house. But it has to, because you're right. If they did not start 10, 15 years ago, I cannot imagine even putting a little bit of money into housing now. It's just so crazy expensive. So I feel like the kids that are carrying the mom's bag, those have, and if they're even thinking about luxury, they already have a base, meaning they've got their own housing or staying with parents or whatever. They've got that settled, and this is just extra, and it's not new to them.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like, we don't know for sure, because the topic here is whether luxury is no longer attractive, right? I don't know for sure if this target market, like the people in their 20s, are necessarily the ones to blame for this trend, because when I was in my 20s, I also didn't find these bags attractive. In my 20s, well, hold on a minute, let me think. When did I buy my first Chanel? I think it was 2010. So okay, I was 29 that year. I was literally when I first started thinking that maybe a Chanel bag would be okay for me to carry, otherwise it looked too weird. Like, I was too young for it. Not because I couldn't too young in a sense that for my style, it's too young for me. As I'm too young for it, not because I didn't deserve it. So again, I don't know if really the people in their 20s or even their 30s is really the issue here that created this problem. Luxury being seemingly less attractive to the masses.
It's interesting. Okay, so now then I'll lead to the next comment, because masses, as in maybe not every single, but those that are sort of eyeing luxury, because here we go. I think there is also the resale market, because that is an indication of nobody really, or less and less people buying, right? Because if the luxury market is still on a rise, it's just going crazy, then there is a market, right? Then people are buying, masses are buying, you are buying, I'm buying. But if you look at it today, wow, there are a lot of good deals. There are a lot of good deals. They're not taken up fast enough. So, Connor, you can share, how is the resale market doing?
I mean, it's slow, but at the end of the day, there's always going to be people with money buying stuff. I think people are wanting more for their stuff to sell. So people are wanting stuff to sell for very close to what they paid for, and they're not wanting to take a hit. So you're seeing stock out there that probably should be a little bit cheaper than what it is. I've noticed a lot of Hermès stuff has gone down, and like Mini Kelly also found like they're not getting the $30,000, and our currencies are all pretty much similar. Like they're not selling for the $30,000 premium that they were selling for. Like they're selling early 20s, like 25,000 now, which, you know, how long have they been in the premium for? Like years. So I think I always watch Hermès bags first, and then when they kind of start dropping, or you're seeing Lux Lexicon with the same bag for 100 years, you know, that's normally a telling sign. But it's still, like, I could be selling a bag in Australia for what we would consider a lot of money, but someone in America or Europe, because of the currency difference, it's like a bargain for them. So it's hard to have like a general resale market taking a loss, or the bubbles popped or whatever, when they're all different markets. So I actually don't think in Australia it's that bad. I think it's lower than what it should be, but it's not taking a hit. But maybe in an Asian market, or maybe in America or Canada, it is. I'm not sure, but I think it's slower, but it's not drastic. Like I just put a Chanel bag up the other day and someone bought it in 5 minutes. So you know,
I think I see it here in Singapore, because and then of course there are a lot of people here buying a lot of things, especially during the pandemic, and then post-pandemic, it was still on the rise. So it's kind of like it was tapering. But now you can really find good deals on the resale market. And you're right, people will snap it up. People who are actually out there looking for the deals, they are snapped up. And but I did speak to one, I chatted with one of the resellers. They said it really went down. So it went down as in, like, you have to bring the prices down, otherwise people are just not going to buy. And the people that are buying, they are still luxury lovers, but they are just said, nah, I'm gonna wait it out. And some have totally said, I'm not interested anymore, I have too much. So they said that it went down. So a Birkin, say like a gold on gold Birkin, which is 25 Togo, used to go for what, 34,000 Singapore dollars, brand new. You can get one for 29 now. You could. I mean, it'll be snapped out like that, but you could. And it's sort of an indication. But if you still want to buy it at the store, they won't allow it. They won't allow you to get it for at double the price. You still have to pay quite a bit of a premium, a pre-spend premium at the store. But yeah, the resale market, you can get a brand new one below 30, which is a deal. A deal if you think of it, and you get exactly what you want. So I think it also makes us wonder, because we've been accumulating some of these luxury items, going like, are they still investments, right? Investments. I have to do this, investments, because you spend all this money and now you're seeing this market really dip, and very quickly. And I was just talking about something that I bought from the resale market, which is such a deal. And I'm like, I'm so excited to get it today, but I won't talk about it yet. Yeah, it's so crazy. It's people are just throwing their things now, at least for those that don't want it. So
It always turns back around though, so I think people shouldn't be so turbulent with their items, because this is what it is now. Like, who would have thought that in the middle of a pandemic, luxury items would be like, I consigned in 2020, I think I consigned like 10 Birkins, 5 Kellys, 3 Mini Lindy's, and that was the year Mini Lindy's were released. They would sell in like a day, like just like that. And so who would have thought that in an economy like that, when there was so much uncertainty, people would be splurging on that stuff? Whereas now, like, interest rates and everything are higher. There's, cost of living crisis and stuff like that. But there's still always people that will have money to buy luxury goods. There's just, 8 billion people in the world. There's always going to be people with money. So while the average person is probably looking to buy on the pre-loved market, they're probably being a bit more... they're probably wanting to get a bit more of a deal. I don't think it's safe to say then, oh, well, like, you're never going to get money or what you would normally get for a bag again. It'll come back around. It always does.
Yeah. Actually, a good point that you made. Don't be so like urgent to sell your things, right? Because right now it's, if you can hold it, hold it. It will come back. It will come back. It may not be exactly the best, but still you will not lose as much. And I had to literally tell myself this a couple of days ago, because I was going through this whole like, should I sell? Should I sell? But and then I sort of stepped back and said, look, you bought it already, and just hang on with it, because it's fine.
Yeah, I definitely think that the resale market, and we've spoken about this a lot between, Kat and I, when we're just hosting the Luxury Live show on our own, that the market is definitely quite different comparing Singapore to, say, just Canada. Because, again, Singapore, wow, they have consignment stores literally every corner in Singapore, and Singapore is like this tiny, right? This little dot on the globe. Whereas Canada, you can count like one that is bigger, right? Luxury is probably the one that is the most prominent. You hear all the time. And then everything else is just the local stuff. And as I've described many times, the local consignment stores here, you will find things that are pretty much like vintage. It's like old stuff, or styles that nobody wants, or if there are bags, they're all quite worn out. There's a lot of wear and tear in them. It's not the same type of consignment industry.
Yeah.
And so even the resale is quite different. I think the reason why in Singapore, probably the resale market will kind of fluctuate faster depending on the market and the economy would make more sense. Whereas in Canada, I'm not saying that it hasn't dipped, definitely has, because I mean, I don't resell things, but I do sometimes rehome my own things. And I can tell that in the last year, not as many people are inquiring about my stuff, and it's just staying on the page. And that's fine, but it's just like, you can tell there's a little kind of decline. But as far as I've been kind of like, checking out the Luxury site or like Fashion File site, the prices are still up there.
Yeah.
Whether people are buying them as readily, probably not, like you said, Connor. But there will always be someone who still has money, or is ready, saved up long enough, who's ready to buy it. There will always be people like that. So, yeah, the market is definitely very different though between Singapore, Asia, and North America. I feel like it's definitely like, can I say, is it more stable here? No, maybe not, but it's just like it doesn't fluctuate as fast, I find. Maybe
and I send lots to Canada. Out of all the places that I would send the most to, never to Asia, because they can just get it so easily. I buy stuff and then can flip it, because it's better like that. But Canada and probably the US. I would send the most to, and it's because of the currency. Like Canadian dollars worth more than Australian dollar, Singapore dollars worth more as well. But it's not expensive to ship places these days. Like I sent something from Brisbane on a Friday to Quebec, and I'm saying that wrong, but Quebec, which is the complete opposite side, and it got there. I sent it on the Friday, and it got there the Tuesday afternoon. Like opposite side of the world. So
very fast.
It's easy to do. It's easy to send money. And lots of people say exactly what you said, Amy. We just don't have the range of products for, unless buying off like eBay or something. But if someone wants to buy it from an actual consignment store, it's either exorbitantly expensive or it's like been absolutely trashed. So why wouldn't they purchase it from Australian resellers and stuff like that? Makes more sense.
Yeah, you should buy from Singapore resellers. It's just insane. Some of the prices like are so crazy, and they get them brand new, and
Yeah.
maybe the stuff we buy here or the amount we buy here is just a lot, and then people are unloading it and they're trying to get at least some of their money back or half of their money back. So I'm going to pull out this comment from Joe saying the prices have softened a lot. I have not been able to let go of my pristine, okay, Joe's pristine Lady Dior, even at half the price, which makes me more careful with my next purchase. So there's a lot of knock-on effect. I agree. So KK, you're saying it's the same thing. Not spending as much because you know that you can't sell it as easily if you need to. Therefore, you're not going to buy. So it's actually quite cyclical, which is why you kind of feel like everybody's not buying, because you know that if you buy, if you make a mistake or you're not sure anymore, it doesn't suit your lifestyle anymore, it's hard to sell. So therefore, you just pull back naturally. Like, okay, I'm not buying anymore.
Yeah, I guess it depends on the kind of, I mean, Dior, you're never going to get, like, we all know what Dior sells for. Anyone that wants Dior, I would just say, wait a month until the bag's been released and then somebody will be selling it and just get it for half the price.
Yeah, Dior is one weird brand, right? It's one of those brands that they sell it's so expensive in retail, but yet people buy it
because
and they resell, and they know I mean, it's like, do they know that it will not resell? I don't know. Yeah,
I think because Dior, go in and buy it. So if anything that you can just walk in and go and buy, you're always going to lose. Like, why would anyone then pay a premium to buy it pre-loved when you can just get it? So any of those brands, you know, it's always going to take a hit on the pre-love stuff.
Yeah. Dior is a weird brand. Like, if maybe years ago, if you didn't know that information, you would still buy from retail. But now, because you know it, especially today's prices, I'm not talking about a few years ago, but at least today, right? 2024, it's so much. Like, you know that it will be a lot cheaper. I don't know.
This also, I was looking at this comment when you guys were speaking. I think luxury has become less attractive because of the intense price increase. This coming from a luxury lover. I think that is more so true for, I think, the previous point when we said that luxury is kind of like less trendy now. I feel like that's probably why, not necessarily because is it the Gen Z? Anyway, the 20, like the young folks, not necessarily because they don't appreciate, I mean, they probably don't appreciate the very high-end luxury, but also it's just because they just don't like the style right now. But it's also because right now, even for us, like, we're looking at these prices, and I'm gonna be completely honest. Like, I'm still doing my journey, but I am literally throwing up every day, and then just thinking, what are these prices? Like, it's very high. But then it's like, you either do it or you don't do it, right? If you're gonna do it, then you just have to do it, and you can only do one thing, maybe, you know, like that's exactly what I'm doing. I think when I still had my essay at Chanel, because she moved back to Japan, she retired. When I still had my lovely essay at Chanel and she was able to get me stuff, at least some stuff before, I would still be spending at both places. And it was literally, I could not, like, I felt like it was out of control. My savings were dipping faster than anything. But now that she's no longer here, I'm able to just focus on one thing. And even then, I can feel that my buying power, even just compared to last year, is not as high. Everything has gone up so much. The pre-spend stuff has gone up so much.
Oh yeah. Yes, it has gone up a lot. Those orans that you were talking about earlier, Connor, they're like they were 800 below 1,000. Now they're like above. How many orans can I?
Organs,
I will
sheep
give.
sandals, the scarves, everything has gone up. Like the ready to wear, I am shocked because I actually like the ready to wear. I don't buy every single style, right? But like when I find something cute, I will buy it, and I'll buy all the colors. And literally the ready to wear, you can have the same exact style, even just like the t-shirt, the same pocket t-shirt. I don't have those, but I've seen those climb up in price more quickly than their what did not climb so fast. Like their Bastia didn't even climb that fast, but somehow the t-shirt went up by $50 every year, and now it's like $1,000 to get a freaking t-shirt. It's insane. Like that's why I'm saying like the buying power is definitely not as high. And I think even us luxury lovers that do continue to buy luxury, we can only do very focused buying and selective buying.
Mm. Well, I'll give Hermès credit where credit's due. If you look, like their shoes are pretty not
They're
expensive.
good.
Like if you're looking at Louis Vuitton shoes, they're nearly double the price for some things, like their Oran equivalent. And I feel like at least with Hermès, they have their 10% price increase. You're not going to have their Louis Vuitton or their Chanel knee-jerk 30 price increases in a year. And New
Yeah.
Year price
Yes.
increase, well, if you didn't get your bag in December, you're getting it in January and it's 10% more. We know what we stand with them. And I think knowing that, it's a lot more comforting. And sometimes the prices go down with their stuff. Like they don't always increase it. Sometimes they will decrease it. So I feel like it's a lot more of an even playing field. Hermès is expensive. I know their ready to wear has gotten more expensive than than for what it is. But I think with the most part, like I don't think it's terrible, but
Yeah.
it's Hermès.
No, you're right. It's not as
As we
terrible
speak,
comparatively
Chanel just had a
speaking
price
to.
increase.
Oh man, oh my gosh. But they're having a sale right now. They have their yearly sale, which I didn't go because I couldn't go. As I said, like I even didn't go to the sale at Chanel. That's how dedicated right now I am. But it's temporary. I'm just giving me this like whatever journey I'm on to be over, or at least slow down for me to resume other places. But like, yeah, that's just how it is, right? Like, okay, Jen, she clarified for us.
So you're a
Millennial?
millennial. We're all
Okay, so we're
millennials.
all millennials. Yes, good. And then Gen Z is the one after. Okay. But yeah, it's definitely not as crazy as Chanel and LV and other brands, or Tiffany. Oh my gosh, Tiffany also. But you know what? There is some things that went up by more than 10% though, Connor, at Hermès between last year and this year.
Yeah,
It's a few jewelry pieces,
jewelry.
or maybe just jewelry in general. The scarves went up by like 14 or 15%. The sheep sandals also, they went up by like, I don't know, 12% or something.
Noticed the shoes did go up a little bit, like
Yeah.
the men's
Men's always more modest. Men's
well,
stuff.
they went up a little bit, like the espadrille Izmir version, whatever. They were like under $1,000. I think they were like $800, and now they're like $1,400 or something. And
Wow.
Yeah.
It went up a bit, and I was like,
some stuff went up a lot. Some stuff. Definitely.
Yeah. And I was like, if I can't work out the percentage amount, it's too high. Okay.
Even the bags, right? This was it this year or was it last year's bump up was quite big because I was comparing my mini Kelly oh, was it yeah, I'm comparing one of my bags with another friend's bag. When we compared the percentages, I think it went up 15%. So some bags actually went up quite a lot. So because for the longest time they were just doing 5 to 10%. It was, it's expected. You sort of can plan for it. But I think the pandemic definitely hit Hermès a bit. So they had to do a bigger adjustment. They said they resisted it for a while, but they gave everybody an exceptional bonus. Even my essay said, we had an exceptional bonus. I'm like, yes. I wonder how did you get an exceptional bonus?
Yeah, I've got 80 Twillies, so I wonder how that happened. But at least with Hermès, the bag is worth it. It's not like Chanel where the quality's shit. It's at least Hermès, there's consistency. So there's that.
Okay, Kim, that's true. Kim brought this up to me. So I'll read it out first. I asked Amy about this before. I saw an Aussie YouTuber say that her Hermès stores said to her that they need a receipt to spa their items. Any truth to this? So yeah, I watched a video too. Oh, I forgot to. Oh my gosh, I meant to comment her video because she actually mentioned me in her video. And yeah, so she's from. I don't know if she's from Melbourne or Sydney or neither actually, but she brought in a bag that she wanted to spot. I think it was her Kelly, if I remember correctly. And the store told her that they couldn't spot it unless it was purchased in Australia and that she has the receipt for it.
Huh?
And then so it was sort of a surprise to her because like I think everyone on this Hermès journey or community knows that if you have any Hermès bags, even if it's a vintage, you can always bring it back to Hermès and they'll spot it for you. But apparently she was told those things in her store in Australia. I wanted to ask my essay, but I totally forgot. And I don't know if that's the case here or if it's just that store or if it's just Australia.
Or just
Do
her.
you guys know anything about it?
They could have just said it just to her.
Why would you think so?
Because like I don't know who the person is at all, but you know what Hermès are like. There's no consistency. Like they maybe they thought the bag wasn't authentic or whatever the reason would have been. I don't know. I would dare say people, because what, when you do, like you spar a bag, you give it to them, then they send it away, then they do the quote, and then say it's not authentic or whatnot, or whatever the thing is, they might be getting a lot of people who are getting bags going there, getting the quote, like, no, it's too expensive, I don't want to proceed, then getting the bag sent back, and all of that logistics might be adding up. So maybe it might, like people who are buying a pre-loved bag that's maybe a little bit more used and then sending away for a quote, and then they're saying, I don't want to proceed with that quote, it's too expensive, then Hermès are sending it back. That doesn't cost you anything to do that, it costs them. So maybe they're doing that. Well, having a receipt means this person's actually serious about potentially committing to it getting sparred.
But here's the problem, like you will not have a receipt if you did buy it pre-love. You won't necessarily have a receipt, and if you did have a receipt, it won't be under your name.
Yes, they're trying to filter out those people who are wasting their time just sending stuff to get quoted for cleaning and sparring because it's expensive. So they're probably underestimating, like people are underestimating how much it actually costs.
Right. I get that point, but I don't think that lovely girl was wasting anyone's time.
No, not at all. I don't think her, but I'm saying Hermès, there's a lack of consistency with what they tell people. I'm saying maybe they've said it just to her. Like, just say it's person A, they're saying it to one person, not to another person. Like, I would not be surprised if Meredith went and asked her sales associate, hey, if I have a vintage bag, will you spar it? They'll be like, yeah, sure. You know what I mean? Like, who knows?
Yeah. I think it kind of probably what you say is true because it's really up to the SA how they want to manage their customer. So it could be they just didn't want to do this, and like it could be this could be true about they don't know that if she's a real genuine customer. So she could be a walk-in or she could be.
But she she buys stuff from her store. I think she's a relatively newer client though. Not a super long term, but she bought many things from her store.
Yeah, there you go. So Joe is saying, like, Joe's a regular, right? Really regular. So she got her bag spot, no problem. no receipt, super vintage. Obviously,
Yeah, everybody's done that, and then everyone said that also, right? Like, how many videos have you seen of people bringing back a vintage and getting it spot coming back brand new, right? Which
They
is
almost
why her
promote it.
video.
Yeah, like they're proud of that you can
Yeah.
get a bag sparred regardless of,
I think it's maybe so I'm gonna answer Julie's point about a good way to deter buying from pre-love market for an Hermès bag. It could be, right? It could be. But if you have a genuine, like Meredith, who is definitely a buyer of Hermès, if she buys from the vintage, pre-love market, they're not gonna say no to her, right?
Yeah.
But it's definitely to deter, right? Not stop, but just stop. Kind of like weave out the bad eggs, right? Because there are definitely some which what you said, your thought about, sending it over, getting a quote, and they say, oh, I don't want to do it. But it's actually a good way it's a sneaky little way to get your bag authenticated without paying a single cent.
Oh, and maybe that's another reason. Maybe that's why because it would cost Hermès money to courier the bag to wherever it's getting assessed, courier it back, putting a free dust bag in, and then giving it back to the person who doesn't want to proceed. Like, that costs money, wastes time, or whatever. So I'm not saying this is for this girl because I don't even know who it is, but I would not be surprised if Joe Blow walked off the street, went into Hermès with a bag, and they turned around and said, no, we need a receipt. I would not be surprised. Just like Louis Vuitton, if you have a bag that's even a known default that you didn't purchase, they need the receipt. But for someone that has a relationship, they don't need the receipt. So there's inconsistencies, whatever the SA is feeling on that day, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. Excuse me. Good one. Oh, question from Jacqueline. I know we're on topic of bags, but any of you have experience with Rolex watch services? Do they service vintage Rolex like from the 80s?
I think they do, right? Unless they don't have the parts anymore, but I think they do. Because even the 80s Rolex is still very coveted and people actually buy them.
I'm sure they do. They'll just charge you a lot. I sent my watch, my Omega, which is about 15 years old. They don't even make it a constellation. Yeah, when I sent it, it was about 15 to 16 years. Not vintage, but a bit older, 15, 16 years old. And oh my God, the service charge was insane. When I took it back, I was like, are there 4 digits on my service? 4 digits on my service was like nearly $2,000. I nearly drew.
Not even this many numbers on the watch.
I don't think my parents bought it for that much, but
oh my God.
I mean,
they would have been like, some blind watchmaker in Switzerland with his little tiny hands did it all by hand.
Literally, so they removed everything, and then they changed some parts, and they gave me back all those little like knobs to show me that they changed things. Okay, they gave me back the hands, they gave me back the little screws, and like, yeah, we changed it. So here's your bill. I'm like, oh my God. I think it was like 1,008 or something. It was just painful. But then again, that's what you need to spend if you're buying an automatic watch, right? Not all the time, but wow, when they do a full service, oh my God. Oh my God. They'll do it. Yeah. They'll just charge you. And then you'll have little parts that you don't know what to do with. You're like, oh, okay, I guess.
That's why I don't own a Rolex.
It's expensive. Over $1,000 to get maintenance done. Yeah, every 5. Yep. Every 5 years. So mine was due. So I was like, okay, fine. 15 years. I've never serviced this watch. Fine. But I'm waiting another 15 years because that was just too much.
It'll be $5,000 then.
Oh.
While we're on the topic of Hermès, did you guys see you know, Hermès, the color gold. Are they going to bring out a new gold, or they're speculating that there's going to be a new gold?
Is there?
Oh.
Yeah, I read, I think it was on like Perswap or one of those places. There's rumors that, you know how they're doing new blue jeans, new lime. There's going to be
Oh, yes.
gold.
Oh.
And I was like,
New gold.
just keep it as it is, please. It's
Yeah,
fine.
no need to change that one.
If they make
Yeah.
it warmer, I'll be like more biscuity.
Yeah, I like it as it is.
I like it as it is. It's like the
Yeah.
best tan color.
Gold. They could make it more gold, so more yellow.
No, I don't want more yellow.
More yellow in the tone. Oh.
No, it would not suit Asian, and like it will also throw off everyone else because then
It's
you're so
literally the
used.
perfect balance between cool and warm. Like they
Yeah.
can't.
Well, we'll see. I mean, I haven't heard that yet. I haven't come across that information.
Okay, got a couple of questions from Miss Jean here. Good to see Kat, Amy, Connor in one frame. Love. It's good to have luxury ones and contemporary. I find that contemporary ones easy to use outside. What are your thoughts about cost per wear for Hermès? I say it's bag specific. There are some bags that get a lot of use, and there's some bags like in my collection that get nearly nothing. Nearly nothing, but something just really small. But I think for you, Amy, you rotate most of your bags, right? They get equal love.
See, I always say that I actually use my Koro bags. That's what I mean by I rotate them. Like I actually try to use my Koro bags as often as I can. It doesn't mean that I'm always using them. Don't worry, I'm not damaging them or anything, abusing them. But I think to answer her question, it doesn't matter the cost about the cost per wear for Hermès bags or any bags for that matter, because what are you gonna do with that money when you go to your grave anyway? That money doesn't belong to you anymore. So just enjoy it while you can. I'm not saying to like go crazy and then go bankrupt or anything, but within your means, buy what you love, enjoy it, and even if you don't get to use it all the time, as long as you are getting a lot out of them. You know, for me, that's what I'm trying to do. Like, I'm still going to be very careful, especially with that white Kelly, but I'm using it. I'm like, I mean, I don't know how I'm going to convince everyone who doesn't believe that I actually love the bag, like seriously, but I'm not going to take it to the flea market. Okay. Like I'll have to really plan
Going
it.
to the flea market in general, so I don't think you'd be taking your bag.
Exactly. I don't even go there anyway. But that's what I mean. Like I'm not gonna take it to like a pho restaurant or like a Korean barbecue, that type of thing, you know. Like I'll be very mindful where I go when I use these bags, but I'll use them. And when I can't take those bags, then I'll take my Longchamp. And that there's nothing wrong with the contemporary. That's why I love having a bit of both. But for sure, the cost per wear for the Hermès is definitely not as good. There's no way, because they cost so much to begin with, right? But I get so much out of them. Like I get so much joy out of them. And so it doesn't matter. At the end of
You
the
have
day,
a Birkin, right, Connor? You
No.
have like a Birkin.
I had, so during COVID, I was buying lots of bags from Singapore and flipping them because you could. And so I bought a Birkin 35. It was in Blue Izmir, I think, in Epsom. And I think I bought it for like $8,000, like Singapore dollars. So maybe, I think our currency during COVID was like dollar for dollar. So it was the same amount. And then had gold hardware. And I was just like, oh my God, I love this bag, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, business comes first. So I was like, I'll see what I can get for it. Listed it for $14,000. It sold in 2 days. So I bought it for $8,000. I was like, well, that was a short, because I thought, oh, I'll get a 35. They'll take longer to sell. You know, I'll just use it because I bought it with my own money, so it's mine. So I'll just use it, and then if someone buys it, then, you know, it's meant to be. Someone bought it like straight away, and I was like, but anyways, so it was a short-lived dream, but I still had it.
That's a good flip.
Do you want to own one?
I do, yeah. I eventually do, but looking at it, I'm like, I probably at the moment wouldn't have, like, I wouldn't use it, I wouldn't think. Or maybe it's one of those things I would use it because I have it, but I'd either want like a 35 or a 40. I'd probably want a 40 more. But yeah, I would just put my laptop in it and take it to work and no one would even know.
Yeah, good one.
Okay, so KK is saying that the new gold is called Doré.
Doré, and
like
the
Doré.
accent should be the other way, not this way, not this. Sorry, I'm trying to do that.
Like
Not
cafe.
this way, this way. Not this way, this way. Anyway,
Doré.
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 Like
Okay.
cafe.
Like cafe?
Like the other
Yeah,
way.
like cafe, but doré.
Okay. So if they're gonna bring out a new gold, well, they're not calling it gold. They're just saying bring out a new gold. So they're just giving a new shade.
already exists, I'm pretty sure. That's like a vintage color. But what I'd read is they're going to have it's going to be called new gold. But who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? But I was just like, that's a risky move. But like blue jeans, that was like a heritage color, and then they just discontinued it, which was weird for them to do. For them to then bring it back different. So
interesting.
I almost wonder if it's a different color because the color gold is actually not even gold; it's brown.
Well, this doré color, I've seen it. I actually sent it to Dale because in her video, one of her Hermès videos, she was like, "Oh, if I ever got a mini Kelly, I would want a metallic color." And I was like, "Well, the Hermès don't do metallic colors." And then I saw on like who's that Hermès Bonbon or whatever who just shares all the. She shared that color, and it was like a bronzy. It was in Chev, I think, but it was metallic, and I'm pretty sure it was that color.
Is it the card holder?
Yeah, with the Medor.
So that doré actually in French means it's actually golden, like golden. But the actual color gold that we call gold is not really a golden color. It's actually a brown color, which is why I say it's actually different colors. So I don't really think that it's to replace the classic gold color. Anyway, that's what I think because the names don't like the color gold doesn't mean anything. They just called it gold. It's really just tan, right?
Yeah.
But it sounds better to call it gold than to call it tan. Whereas doré actually means golden. So it would make sense that it looks more like
this one.
Yeah, it looks more like a metallic gold because that's what doré means.
Yeah. Oh, Amy, I love.
Oh, yeah, it's like metallic.
I'm just trying to kind of decipher it logically because that's what doré means, right? Whereas gold doesn't mean tan. Gold just means nothing. Just sounds good.
I always Google all the Hermès names to see, like craze, like chalk, and
yeah.
I'm like, oh my god.
So they're bringing this color out for the Olympics. Well, yeah, it's kind of Olympic-y.
But it's bronze. Who wants to win bronze?
Well, on Chev leather, it is also a little bit more
sheeny.
Yeah. So I mean, and anyway, it's just a picture, so it could be. Yeah, it could be more metallic. Not bad.
Dale's asked about pre-loved purchases.
Oh, they're the best. I'm so tired of my
watches.
It's jewelry, man. Jewelry. Oh my goodness. I think ready to wear you can get
any brand ready to wear you can get it 50-60% off.
Yeah, but 50-60%. But jewelry for Hermès is really good. Like you can't get half price for Cartier or VCA. There will be a little discount even if it's new, maybe I don't know 10%, or maybe you get maybe a little cheaper. You won't lose too much. But Hermès jewelry is 50% off, brand new at least.
As you like hold your finesse.
Which is this is half price.
I like that design. I think it's nice.
When I got this was not price. Like I laugh because I buy both, right? I buy from the retail and I'm like stupid, but obviously no choice, right? Because you don't do the pre-spin. But then I sort of offset it by buying some from the pre-love where I'm like, I got it half price.
But you're in the best position to do so because you can walk down the street and there's like 50 million places where you have, like, you would be stupid almost not to. Whereas someone like Amy, it's like slim pickings. You're like, well, I'd rather just do the wish list, buy the stuff that I like, and then do it because you don't have it as accessible. So you're probably like, you're winning in a different way. It just depends. Like, I probably wouldn't live in Canada and then shop Singapore pre-love things. Like, it wouldn't have that same feeling, I think.
For sure. So the jewelry is just, it's insanely good price because I think a lot of people, because here in Singapore it's quite straightforward if you want to get a bag from the store, right? It's not, I mean, it's getting harder for sure. It's getting more competitive, and they're trying to make the pre-spend more than what it used to be. But in the past, it used to be straight 1-to-1.
Yeah.
You spend 1, you get your bag. And if you're an older customer, you spend a little less than 1, you get your bag. So it's kind of like a general rule of thumb. Again, it doesn't apply to everyone, and it doesn't apply to maybe, I don't know, for certain colors maybe, but still generally 1-to-1. So a lot of people will go in because you know what to do. They'll buy jewelry, right? They'll buy jewelry, they'll buy shoes, watches, and then the next day flip it straight out.
Yeah.
Throw it out to the resale market, get back half of your money, get your bag, and you still pay less than the resale market, brand new piece. That worked until maybe this year, but now because the prices of the resale market is going down, I don't see I don't see like a benefit of doing that kind of pre-spending anymore, because you can pretty much get it in the resale market for 1.5 times. So, but anyway, those that have bought it, they are throwing it, and they're throwing it below the 50% mark. It used to be 50%. So when I got this 2 years ago, it was retailing at, I think it was 6,009 at the retail. I got it half. But now I still see it the same price at half, at 3,000 something. But the retail has gone up so much. It's what, 9? I can't remember, 9,000 now? So if you think about it, it's going at 30%, 40%. Yeah. It's, wow, it's crazy.
There's a question for you, Connor, from Kim. Will you go shopping the pre-love market when you go to Singapore?
Of course.
What are you gonna buy?
I don't know. Whatever I find. I don't know.
What are you most interested in?
I don't know. I mean, like, I follow how many Singapore resellers? There would be like 30, like all of them. And I have, during COVID, I actually had them all on Instagram alerts. So like whenever they would post something, I'd be like, buy. I don't know. I kind of, with overseas shopping, I kind of don't plan, like, I don't like to be like, I want this, or I want to look at this. I kind of just let it all happen. I feel like if I put too much emphasis into wanting something, or I'll just get let down. So I normally just let it happen. I know obviously the places to go and all of that stuff. And if I see something, worth it, or even if I see something that I'm like, okay, well, it's a good price now, I'll just hold on to it for a few years and then I can flip it even better. But yeah, who knows? But I will, look pre-loved, because some of the stuff, it's not even pre-loved. It's basically new.
Yeah. Are you going there for work or business? Oh, sorry.
For
business or for pleasure?
For pleasure.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. No, I was saying that all the resellers in Singapore, they're mostly located in the same location. So you could just go to one area, which is Orchard, and hit at least half of all those that you're following.
Yeah.
Because they're all in the kind of same vicinity. Orchard Central, Plaza. Yeah, they're all around there. It's crazy, yeah, this amount there are. But to this point about authentication, Corinne, I think there is concerns of fakes for sure. Um, but with jewelry, it's really hard to find authenticators. So it's best to buy full set with the receipt, and of course from a reputable seller. That would be safer. But yeah.
I don't sell any like fine jewelry unless the person who's bought it, I know them and they've actually bought it. So like if Meredith were to consign something, I would do it. But I've had so many instances with VCA especially where it's been consigned from people. I've had it like no one authenticates it either. So it's really hard to find people and it's all come back fake before I've obviously listed it, especially VCA. And like Cartier, it's really, really hard to do it. And a lot of authenticators just won't touch it because of this, you know, the differences in the real stuff versus the fake stuff. It's too subtle to pick up through photos. So I just don't, like blanket rule, I just don't sell it unless the person, you know, I know them. Yeah, it's too hard. And like exotics as well, it's the same thing.
Oh, exotics? Why?
Because like 1 in 5 exotics that you see for sale are real.
In any brand or a specific brand?
For Hermès. Sorry, for Hermès.
Wow.
So 1 in every, what is it again? 1 in every 5 are fake?
5 kind of bag you would see advertised is real. The rest are fake.
What?
That's like, hold on.
Say that again. 1 in every 5 are real. So
real. Exotic
20% are real. So 80% of the bags out there are fake.
Yeah. All the Himalayans, not real. And they're super, super hard to you know, differentiate.
What?
Yeah. And you know, I think Hermès have I got this book from, I actually bought it during 2020 and it was from, it's an American, I don't know if they own like a consignment company or something. It's 2 guys and they basically documented like vintage Hermès bags from like over ages, and they made this book. It was really expensive, this book, and they've got photos from each year for I think it's from 2000 back to the 60s maybe, and they've basically got photos of each type of bag, of like Constance Kelly and Birkin from each year, the different stampings and all of this stuff. And it's basically like they've taken photos of bags that they've consigned and whatnot and then put it in this book. And anyways, they said in the book, Hermès started doing like the microchipping ages ago in their own way, not like what LV do. I think like since like maybe 2009 or 2010 or something. So they have their own way of authenticating stuff like electronically, but we just don't know what it is. Which I find interesting.
Okay, so we got a couple of questions on it because everybody's like, what? So KK's asking, why are exotics harder to differentiate? And JW's asking, where do you get the exotic Hermès stat? So let's start off with KK's one. Why are they harder to differentiate?
I think because I don't know, I could only speculate that because there's not a lot of them out there. So when they are like authenticators, I guess they're using real bags like to find in like consistencies or inconsistencies. So I think because there's not a lot of them out there, there's less things to kind of cite them against. Because I think authenticators, they're not looking at, oh, this isn't what a real Hermès bag would have. They're looking at the things that like don't add up. Like you're looking for what's not there versus what is there. So I think because there's less of them out there, there's less things to compare them to. And I think the artisans that make them as well, there's not a lot of consistencies between the bags. So there might only be X amount of artisans that make exotic bags, and then they're not going to be the same as the next one. So say I'm just using rough numbers, say there's 5 people that make crocodile bags, but there's like 30 people that make all the other leather bags. If those 5 people are making one bag each, all 5 of them are going to be different in how they do it. Does that make sense? Like,
Hmm.
so I think that they're harder to differentiate with fakes because all of them are inconsistent with each other. There's no consistencies between them. So you're more likely to have potentially a fake bag that isn't as obvious compared to a gold on gold Birkin 25 in Toga leather when there's like a million of them out there. You're able to see the consistencies between them because there's so many out there, versus like a Himalayan croc bag. You're probably only looking at a handful that are on the market, and they're all going to look different because only a certain artisan can make them, and that artisan's probably only made one, and they're going to be their own touch on it. It's going to be different.
I also think that because crocs are, they're like this. I mean, it's one full croc, right? You got to see the spine of the croc. So every bag is unique, right? Unless you compare it to a big piece of cow leather, right? You've got only this one sliver to make, I don't know, 2 bags? What, one croc, 2 bags? I don't know what the stat looks like, right? So it's really hard to say you're going to get the exact 2 bags the same. So firstly, you got an artisan that will make the bag slightly differently, but you also got the skin that you can't say, oh, they're exact match, right? They're so similar because every croc is slightly different. One's got a bit more crooked, scales, if that's what they call it, right? Scales, and then one's more even. And I think that makes it hard. This makes it hard because there are no 2 bags that are exactly the same. So,
I think it's not so much the skin, because I guess where fake bags, the kind of ultimately the leather all comes from one place. They're not like when you're talking like the real super fakes that cost like thousands of dollars. I think it gets to the point where they're all kind of sourcing the leather from the same like caliber of place. Maybe not necessarily the same place, but there's still a wholesaler that distributes the leather somewhere down the line. And I think once you're paying a premium, it all is the same. But I think it's like and look, I'm only speculating. I don't know the ins and outs of all of this stuff. I only know what I've kind of read from places. But like when they look at stuff that is like what an authentic bag would have, they're like counting the stitches on like the back of where the sangles would adhere to the bag, and like 9 out of 10 authentic ones would have 8 stitches, but the fake ones have 6, and the zipper pull is X amount of centimeters long, and there's X amount of teeth, but this one doesn't, and the date code is too far spaced apart, and the stitching is all of those kinds of things they're looking at more so than I guess how the bag looks front on. But yeah, that's kind of what I think.
wow.
Plus, it's harder to be able to procure a real exotic bag to begin with to compare to another one. And you
Right.
have to be sure about the source of the one that you're using as your kind of model to compare to, right? Because
Yeah.
essentially that's how you're doing the authentication. You have to have at least some, like the first sample, which has to be the real one. And to find that alone is quite hard.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, I would not buy an exotic.
Yeah,
It's just,
I would not buy pre-loved anyway, so it doesn't apply to me.
no, I mean, like, exotic is it's maybe it's nice to have, like, the thought of it, like, wow, that's like the ultimate Himalayan Birkin. But even my essay said you have to have a lifestyle for it firstly to carry it. But again, it is so delicate. You get one raindrop on a green croc Birkin, and it would leave a stain. I'm like, no, not on my $50,000 bag. No.
I love matte alligator. I love the matte. I hate the shiny. I like the matte. And I love lizard. Like they're the ones that I I love the texture of lizard because the scales it's like a skin, it's not a scale, so it's all flush, like it doesn't lift. And I think that like in that shiny black, like silver hardware black lizard in B25,
Wow.
chef's kiss.
Oh yeah, totally.
It's like, ugh.
I have both of those leathers in small quantity, and I have to say, like the black matte touch handle, I use that bag when it's raining. Nothing on it. It's fine.
I have to
And
put this
And
comment
what
on Holly. It's
Sorry?
delicate, the dinosaur animal that survived everything. While they're in the water, I think so. But once they've been processed by humans, apparently they're delicate.
oh no, but if it's in black color and in matte, alligator is totally fine. Like I said, I use mine in the rain, not in pouring rain, but I've got rained on the bag. I don't see anything on it.
I think-
And the lizard is so nice. Like, I don't really use the constant slim because it's kind of useless, but the leather on that one is spectacular. It's so thick and durable. Yeah, definitely agree.
Jamie Chua, okay, Miss Jean is asking. Jamie Chua has 3 Himalayan Birkins, and I'm wondering how much we need to spend to be offered.
Too much to know.
Too much. Too much, Jean.
Too much for even
much.
for our lifetime, I think.
Just 3?
Doesn't she have also a Kelly? I thought she has a Kelly as well.
She has a lot.
They're not all
but-
Birkins, I don't think.
No, I think 2 Birkins and 1 Kelly, I think.
Yeah, I
something
thought
like that.
so.
It's like a Kelly 32 or something, no?
I thought there was at least 1 Kelly in there. Yeah.
Mm.
Anyway, I'll take any of those for a spin.
Yeah. I was watching another YouTuber who came on our channel once, right? Jade Z E Styles or something. She got her Birkin 25. I think it's a black shiny croc. Wow. It looks so good. It's so symmetrical, like the scales and everything. It's so gorgeous. But even for her, she said that it's exorbitant. It's a lot. Like you have to firstly pre-spend that, and then work. She said, I work towards the bag. That basically means you pre-spend some stuff. Okay, you bought some things, and then finally got the bag, and it was like an ordeal because the first version that she got had some flaws, and I don't remember what the flaws was. Maybe, I don't know, some of the scales. So they had to send the bag back to repair. And she said because it was a lot of money to spend on a single bag and to work towards it, she felt like she had to take a break. She's like, wow. Because I cannot imagine what kind of pre-spend we're talking about.
But I believe pre-spend for those bags can be sometimes half of, like a lot less. Like when we talk about 2 to 1 for Togo Birkin, it could be half for an exotic, but half is still a lot. I'm not saying it's not, but it's definitely not 1 to 1. Not necessarily 1 to 1 or more. You know, it's less.
Mm. Yeah, Maribel.
Yeah, it's expensive for sure.
Oh my, I cannot even.
That
So
is,
even if you do pre-spend for that, that's at least 50K pre-spend.
Yeah.
And also, sometimes people get offered bags that get rejected because it's not what they want, or they're not in a position to buy it at that point in time. And it might be a touch Birkin, and it just might be in a color that Amy doesn't want. So then it might get rejected 3 times for it to ultimately land in Kat's lap, and she's only spent half of to 1, and then you get offered it. So that does happen.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, it's still going to sell it at the end of the day. But if it's gone through X amount of people, you know, you might get
Because it's
lucky.
a lot, right? I mean, even if, for somebody who has spent, say, 50, 60,000 and they get offered the bag, They may be, because you have spent so much, right? You are going to be really picky. Like, no, I'm going to reject it. So you could filter down the line, but still, it's a lot.
Just
But,
to buy the bag is a lot. That's the issue there. It's not so much the pre-spend, it's the cost of the bag, actually. And then you have to think about when and how you're going to use the bag. That's the scary part. Because obviously, well, hers is shiny on top of that, right? Like matte, at least it's not as delicate. Shiny is definitely, you have to be careful not to get it wet, right?
yeah,
So I think I'm
shiny.
more freaked out about the cost of the bag, and then how and like would I ever even wear the bag at all? So yeah, which is no, I'm never gonna get one.
Unless I win the lottery, maybe.
Oh my gosh, even with the lottery, I mean, yeah, I guess that would be a step closer, but then I have other things I want to do with it as well. Because I'm so totally happy to be a basic Birkin, basic Kelly girl. Like I'm totally fine with that. And when we say basic, okay, it's really not basic. Okay, like these are freaking expensive bags.
You know, when I brought up ostrich to my essay once. And my essay is like, Amy knows, my essay is absolutely practical. Literally turned to me and said, "It's 30,000, you know." and I was like, 30,000? And it's like, yeah. And you have to pre-spend, huh? Then I was like, okay, I get it. So it's like, literally told me off, like, don't even try. Don't even try. It's just not worth it. So yeah.
Yeah.
I said, ostrich? Like,
Oh,
no.
you don't know.
I mean, it would be nice, but I think exotics in the resale market would be, if you don't mind it being a little bit worn, you can actually get good deals. Because I think Mel in Melbourne got her croc, her giant, like size 20, is it the 28 or 32? She had she revealed a croc green Kelly. Do you remember that? Did any of you watch that?
I think I have an impression of it. I don't remember what size it is.
It
I
was
don't
pretty
watch
big.
this too much, that girl.
I mean, there are people whose collections are so big. I honestly don't remember all the details. Unless I was already researching that bag and I had to watch that video over and over and over, then I would remember. But if I'm not even interested in the first place, I would not really pay that much attention. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Kitty is saying it's a 28. Yeah, it's a 20. She said she got it for a really good deal. But it's a much older Kelly, and it was beautiful green. But she did say, I think if I'm trying to recall, I think she opened the flap or something, and because it's so much older, it has faded. The green on the inside, I could be wrong, but I could be imagining it. But I think it was a little bit more bright, whereas the outside, if you didn't see the inside, you would not have known. But because you see it, then you're like, oh, it's faded a little bit, right? The color has changed, but it's still really beautiful. And I think she got it for a pretty good deal because it's so old. And yeah. If you really want to get exotic, definitely go for the pre-love market for the older bags. Oh yeah, Connor, how's your made to order? You did one, right?
Yeah, where's this is inverted. How do I can't point.
Is it the blue one? Oh, I was staring at that bag.
Yeah,
the whole time.
Go get it.
It's a pretty shade of blue.
And then the handle's python, so it's like a touch.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Here, let's make you bigger. Oops, this one.
Yeah, and then the inside is in like a beigey milk color.
Yeah.
And then all the little.
So you customize each of those things, like the color of the inside, the handle, and
so they and then the pouch has like my name on it.
Oh.
So they do like Fendi do two kind of made to order processes. The one that I did is like the more streamlined version. So they only did this bag this is the mini size, and then they do a medium size. So you can only like customize the outside color, the inside color. You can customize the hardware, so you can get like the one with like the crystals or different colors. You can get your initials on the turn lock, but you can only pick from X amount of colors for the outside, X amount of colors for the inside. And then you can either get Python on the handle and on the sides. Yeah, that's basically it. Whereas the normal or like the larger Fendi made to order, it's called World of Fendi, like what Dale did with her bag, where there's like all different exotics, all different things that you can do. But because this way is more streamlined, it doesn't cost as much. So I think at the time when I did this, the retail of the bag was, I think, 7,500, and then mine was 8,900. So it wasn't
not too much.
Yeah, it wasn't a big thing, but I love it. It's so pretty.
It's
It
really
is.
pretty.
Yeah.
Would you do it again?
I would do it again, but not for that bag. Not because I don't like that bag, but it's one of those bags where I don't need 3. You know what I mean? Like I don't need. But they have a mini version of this bag now that I want. So it's like maybe this big, like half of it.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, but it was cool. Like I don't think there's anything that beats a made-to-order feeling.
How long did you wait for it?
Oh my God, because of the exotic on it, it got stuck in customs. So I think I did it in July. What year are we in? July 2020, no, December 2022, and then it came in September 2023, so 10 months.
Wow.
Yeah, but it was other people who did the bag at the same time that didn't have exotics. Theirs came in July, so I think theirs took 6 months, and then mine took 10 months.
Yeah.
Which still, I guess, actually looking back at it, it's not that long.
Okay, let me shift our frame again. Ding. Nice.
But what did the question say? It's not like a quota bag. Anyone could do this. You can do this version like I did at any time. Yeah, they have like an iPad that you can like play around with, and it'll give you like a cost indication that you can just do in the store. I actually asked the sales associates, because when I unboxed it, people asked, "Oh, is there a pre-spend?" And there's not. You could just do it. Yeah, and when they had the actual event for it though, they did bring in the trunk where you could see the samples of the leather, and like the hardware options, like an Hermès made to order thing where you have all the like hardware samples and stuff like that. But if they can't get in that trunk, you can still just design it on the iPad. But it'd be a bit boring if you couldn't do that.
That's a really good like option for people who want a little bit different for their bags, right? Because I mean, Fendi has so many varieties, but you always, if you're a bag lover, you're like, oh, if only they had this, or they could change this part of the bag. So this is actually a really good alternative. And yeah, it's nice to know that it's not like a quarter bag, right? You have to be like some privileged customer. Anyone can walk in and get it.
Yeah, the version that Dale did, that's totally different. There is obviously an expectation. First of all, you'd have to have like a relationship with Fendi, and then there's an expectation that when you do that, you do buy something, because you're on the video call with like Rome, the designers in Rome. But with this version, no. I mean, yeah, and I think like it's a lot more special, like when it's just made for you. And the box comes in, I can't point the right way, that box there, it's like the different to the normal Fendi box. And it's like just more special, and they make it a big deal. They get you like flowers and all of that. So it's like
they hook you in. Okay. Oh, let me pull this comment from Corinne. I attended World of Fendi yesterday and was planning to do a made to order, but the one I fell in love with, raffia beat and bought 25,000. Corinne, wow.
Yes, that's the one Dale did. Expensive.
It's
Yeah,
quite.
but you do fur, Like they have croc, ostrich, like astrakhan, which is like a type of fur, all these different creations you can do, but it's like, yeah, $25,000. It's not cheap.
Made to order option in baguette for the baguette.
Not the way I did it, because it's only peekaboo. So you can do the women's peekaboo. There's so many different names. I can't remember. It's the ICU or I can't remember, but it's only peekaboos, not baguettes. World of Fendi, you can do baguettes, but not for this cheaper one.
And then more questions on the made to order. Do you feel like the Fendi baguette and Mama baguettes are worth buying pre-loved instead of brand new? Oh, there's a difference. Okay, Mama baguette coated canvas is Australian for 1,700. Not experienced, but it seems high. What's a Mama baguette?
Like those larger, more saggy ones. I think Fendi, it's one of those brands that doesn't hold its value, so you can get like new bags for a big chunk off the retail. In terms of I think the Mama Baguette's a vintage bag. Like I think it's like an older style bag, but still like 1,700. I mean, it's not, you're not overpaying, but I think that's probably the cap. It's still a Fendi bag at the end of the day, I guess.
Oh yeah, it's a bigger version. Much bigger version.
More like hobo-y.
Big, oops. Like a really big bag. Yeah, not bad. Okay, oh my gosh, we talked 2 hours. So thank you, Connor, for joining us. Yeah, it goes by really quickly when we're just chatting about all kinds of things. But yeah, thank you for joining us. And I'm looking forward to seeing you here in Singapore is it next month? Oh yeah, it's next month. Time flies.
I know.
I'm so jelly. I want to join.
Jelly. Fly here.
I can't come next month. My mom is here. I have to be here for my mom.
We'll go to Paris together.
All right. All right. Let's do that. That's a plan.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Tomorrow, we have a members live. So, yeah, we'll catch up with you tomorrow. Otherwise, we will see you next week.
That's right. Bye. See you on my channel tomorrow. Bye.